We go to work to be at work, to be with other people, to build things as a group, to express ourselves professionally, to help, to be counted on, to count on others. We manage our work like it's a bunch of tasks given to us by nobody, and we are nobody as we receive them. That's not helpful. It's not healthy. It's not right. And then we're surprised when people don't identify with their work product, when they don't want to engage in continuous improvement, when they don't want to make things better for themselves, for their colleagues, for their customers, etc. We're also suddenly surprised when we're building a project, when we're setting a project up, that people are specifically not creating a system that will create the situation where people want to do those things. And this is all demoralizing. And right now the world is filled with enough demoralizing. We don't need any more. So there's a whole lot of things out there about like how to center yourself or how to build a personal work plan or how to do this or how to do that. And this video is kind of another one of those. The thing I want you to pay attention to in this video is when you define things, how does it change how you act? When you say, I want this, I want to be this, I want to do this, I want to help with this, how does it change how you take on a specific task and do it? How does it change how you tell people, I can't do that? How does it change how you say, I can do that, but not right now? So there are all these things out there that say how to say no, how to say no, how to say no. I don't want you to say no. I want you to say yes, and then give a reason or a way that that can happen successfully. So let's just look at this really quickly. So this is a Kanban board. It's called the My Work, My Life board. And again, these are all examples. They're exemplars of how work is. So here on this side, and I'll make this bigger, is our personal vision. So what do you want to be? Where do you want to be? How do you want to be? Why do you want to be? You know, usual stuff that you see in something like this, but how is this different? You can pretty much guess that if I'm doing something and telling you about it, that it's going to be different in some way because I don't have time to repeat crap that other people just spew. All right. So there's a reason why this is here. I want you as an individual to understand how you want to relate to the work that you're doing, to the other people that you're working with. So what do I want to be? So here I've got calm. I want to be calm. I want to be informed. I want to be ready to help. Open, vague sentences. But then, later on, you're like, taking on too much work doesn't make me calm. Working with this particular client doesn't make me calm. I did this work and I wasn't informed. This isn't what I want to be. Okay. Where do I want to be? Okay. So I want to be in a place where I'm surrounded by people who are thoughtful. They talk. They want to solve things. So I'll tell you, like right now, I'm working with a team. It's a global team. And we keep getting into things. And I'm so used to people not wanting to be in meetings or working that I try and find the fastest path to just kind of getting in and getting out. And this group of people is so focused on getting the right thing done at the right time that they'll stop and they'll say, no. Let's talk about this a little deeper. Let's have a thoughtful conversation about that. Let's build some meaningful work. And they're all really present, even when they're, kind of out of control. And that's always fun to be part of. Okay. Then, I want to be open-minded, curious. I want to be patient. I want to be generous. And I want to do those things while I'm doing my work. So if I'm pulling in work that gets in the way of this, then I know that that's work that I shouldn't be doing. And then last is, why I want to be. And I want to be these ways because these ways help me build lasting relationships, to actually improve things, to contribute, to grow, etc. So in my vision here, what I'm doing is I'm laying out ground rules for how I work with other people. Yesterday's video went a little long, so I'm trying to be as fast as I can with this one. Okay, now how am I approaching the work? Now this is straight up just saying this is work that are on the 2 projects that I'm working on. This is work that is unexpected, or it's work for growth. So let's just say that half of these are growth and half of these are unexpected. And that right now what I know is that this is planned work, and this is work that I need to pay attention to because somebody is waiting for it right now, or because I'm waiting for it right now and I'll never value myself enough to do it. Isn't that interesting? Just think about that for a little bit. We don't prioritize things that help us grow because we don't value ourselves as a stakeholder in our own lives. And when that is a problem. So I actually make this, we can make this urgent and important here. And I actually move those growth things into urgent and important. Then the last ones are just administration and background. So just think of it that way. So like we think about like how we're dividing up our work and like this is super important, this is slightly less important, this is even less important than that. But context for your work can fall into some pretty interesting and weird boxes. So here in the actual doing part, the purple part here, this is like the main Kanban-y part of it. And these are planned work, things that aren't planned, and crises. And this is interesting because it's making you reorganize these things again as you're doing them. So we'll just go ahead and open this one up. And we'll close this off for a second. And so in here in the today column, I know that today I want to get these things done. I'm going to do them and then they'll be done. Just a normal Kanban here. But what I've done initially is I've looked at who I am, who I want to be, and then how I'm approaching the work so that when I drop things into these boards, I know that they belong there, right? So we'll pull this one up, and then there's the outright crises here. And so here we have like, we're actually listing something as an emergency, and if something appears down here, then we know we really got to panic. But then also over here, when it gets to done, we know that when it gets to done, that we absolutely down here in the crisis, this becomes a retrospective, all right? So let's just say up here that you do this work and you get through it and it's okay. But if it's not okay, you might move it down here because that's where the retrospective lives. That's even true for the stuff that's up here. This goes over here, or this goes down here to where the retrospective lives. We can make that even more blatant by coming over here and actually changing this to retro. Okay, retro/Kaizen. So now when we see that board, we know for a fact that anything that appears down here in this column is going to be retroed and Kaizened. Anything that's up here in these columns, they just happened and whatever. So that's it. That is 100% this board. Like and subscribe. Come to our classes. Buy our books. Do all sorts of things. If you get value out of this, can you please just let me know? That's it. Thanks, everybody.